Okay everyone, I'm back. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on aging, staining the 5-foot posable skeleton. Hi, I'm Norman and this is my wife,
Ramona. We are Creepy Crafty Creations.
Try saying that 3 times really fast.
Creepy Crafty Creation.
Creepy Crafty Creations.
Creepy Crafty Creations.
That's our grandson, LJ.
He does all of our tech work for us.
We love making
haunted house and Halloween props.
So come join us and have some fun.
This is one of the 5-foot skeletons that I had gotten from Home Depot, and the 6-pack that I had gotten. First thing we're going to need is 5-foot skeleton. And what I usually start with instead of wasting stain on the interior of the ribs, I usually spray paint them black. This is the cheapy black paint. I believe I got this from Home Depot. All you do is just spray down inside the rib cage. I've already done this one, but I'm going to black it out a little bit more in there. I mean, you can skip this step and go ahead and stain the inside of the ribs, but if anyone's wondering, the other end of my shop is open, so I'm in a well ventilated area. I also black out the bottom of the feet, which I've already done these. I just lightly spray the black paint over them. And then this guy is ready for staining. What I do, I start on the back side, and with this skeleton I'm not going to be doing the skull, the head. I'm going to be coming back later and doing a doing a corpsing on the head, so I'm not going to be staining that right now. And for this one I'm using dark walnut, Minwax wood stain, dark walnut. This was requested by my niece Mindy. She said this is her favorite color for the skeletons. So Mindy, this one's for you. And I use a chip brush. I mean, I've got the 1-inch chip brush. You could use a 2-inch, 3-inch. This is what I have, so that's what I'm using. And you're just generously getting it, covering the skeleton with it. Make sure you're getting down in all the crevices. You want a good coverage. And this is a very messy project, so if you're working on a workbench table, you might want to cover it. I've got a drop cloth down. Also, might want to wear some old clothes, something you're not worried about getting trash, getting stains on it. And just get some good coverage on whole back side of the skeleton. Make sure you're getting all the joints. I mean, if you want to take a little bit more time, usually I take a little bit more time doing this part of it. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to speed it up a little bit here. And the more you put on, and the longer you leave it on before wiping it off, the darker it's going to be. And on the arms, I usually put a generous amount on the back side of the bone, the arm bone. And then I'll go back with the gloves, pick up the excess from that side, and then rub all that around both sides of the arm bone. Make sure you're getting up in the joints. And in the hand, you want to come across the knuckle joints like that, so you're making sure you're getting into all those crevices. Good coverage in those crevices and the joint there. Come across those knuckle joints. Really good coverage. Go to the other one. Pick up all that excess with your gloves and just wipe it on there. I mean, you don't have to do it like this. You could use the brush to do the whole thing. It's just, for me, this is the easier way to do it. Down here to the legs. Same thing with the legs. Get a good amount on the back side of the bone. Get in those joints. And come back with the gloves. Get in between those bones. Go back and make sure you got all the coverage on all the joints. Nothing worse than thinking you got everything covered and then come back and there's a spot that you missed on a joint after you pose them. Same thing with the foot. Go across those knuckle joints, up in the ankle joint. That's a pretty quick and easy way to, to age the skeleton. You're not wanting to do a lot of detail work on, corpsing or the plastic corpsing or anything like that. This is just a good quick way to give them an aged look. That side's done. Good coverage. Turn them over. Alright, first thing I do after turning them over, I look for any runs. Try to brush those out right away so they don't, it's dry like that and leave a run mark on there. You can also pick up those runs and use it to stain more areas. Start on his sternum here and his ribs. And if you want to go with less stain, if you want to look more like a bone color, you can use less stain. I kind of like them looking like this because it's kind of like, when this guy died, if he died in this position and he all rotted down, all the body fluids would have soaked down and dried on there. So that's the look I'm going for. You're getting all those vertebrae, those creases in the vertebrae. This area I covered, pelvic area, I put some extra stain in there because I like it to pool up like this. You can imagine if he had died in this position, that body fluid is all going to go to the bottom, and pool up and then dry like that. So that's the look I'm going for. And if you're not happy with the black, like if you've missed some spots or you want to do a little bit more, you can take some stain on your gloves, hands, and rub them up inside there to get some better coverage. Go back over, see if you've missed any spots. And when you do, if you do the spray paint, the black spray paint up into the rib cage, you might want to wait like a half an hour to an hour for that to dry. I had already done a pretty good coat in there, and I was just showing the technique of spraying it in there. So, but if you do that, you might want to wait about at least a half an hour for that to dry in there, where the stain might like dissolve some of that paint. All right, that's pretty good coverage. Let me get this guy out of the way. So I usually let them sit about 5-10 minutes. The longer you let it sit, the stain sit on there, it's going to be a darker color. You're not going to be able to rub as much off, but that's the way I like them. I like them a little bit darker. You get any on the skull, the face, you just take a clean cloth and wipe that down, or you can leave it. You know, depending on what you're going to be doing to the skull. If you're not going to be doing any extra detail work to the skull, you can go ahead and stain it now. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and we'll start wiping this guy down. Go ahead and turn him over. We'll get to the back side first when we come back. Okay, while I'm waiting for this guy to set up, I'll go ahead and show you some of these ones that I've already done. This is the same color, black walnut, or the dark walnut. This is my niece Mindy's favorite color for staining skulls and skeletons. This is my favorite. This is the red mahogany. I kind of like it because it looks like, you know, dried blood. I didn't do any of these heads except this one back here, because I'm gonna come back and be doing some corpsing techniques on them. That's the red mahogany. This is another one that was done in the dark walnut. And this guy back here, I don't know if you can see him that good. This was a gray stain. Now, he looks pretty cool. He's like a lot different than the other stains. And then this guy here, which I kind of like this one. This was actually a stain and polyurethane mixture together. It actually gets sold like that. It's this one here. It's the stain polyurethane. And this one I didn't even wipe down. I just put it on and let it dry. It has because it has the polyurethane in it, it gives it a glossy look, a sticky look, you know. I guess more like a fresh aged look on it. He's pretty cool. I like that one. Let's see this guy. I guess he's about ready. Been about 5 minutes. So all I use is a cloth, regular cloth, to wipe them down. Something I can just toss afterwards. It's actually a towel. I had cut up an old towel, so whatever you prefer. And you just, depending on how you want it, you can just lightly, you want it to be darker in the crevices, you lightly rub it. Basically kind of like highlighting it. If you come back with like a highlight brush, that's what you're doing by wiping it off. You're just getting the high spots. If you've got any runs, you can wipe those down a little bit. This area I try to leave more stuff pulled up, the stain pulled up in there. Whatever you think is cool looking, let's go with that. When you're wiping down the hands, instead of going across the direction that you had brushed the stain on, go against the grain there, back the opposite direction, so it's not pulling that stain out of those joint crevices. Pretty easy. Not really even a technique. I mean, but however you want to, whatever look you're going for. thing with the foot. You don't want to come across those joints because you'll pull that stain out of those crevices. Alright, let's turn more. This looks pretty good. I mean, that's the look I'm going for. If you want it a little bit lighter, you can rub more of the stain off. Same thing with the spine, the vertebrae, there's cracks in between. You don't want to wipe it off across because you'll pull that stain out. You'll go the opposite direction. In these areas, the pelvic area, I like to leave a lot of the stain just pooled up down in there. But if you gotta run, you can dab it out, wipe it out, whatever. That looks pretty good to me. You do a little bit up in here if you don't like the look, it's too dark. I'm okay with that. I like that. As you can imagine, if he died in this position, all that bodily fluid is going to be settling down there, and that's going to be a lot darker than there. I'm okay with this look. So I'm going for a little bit of a run there. Now you could also dab. Yep, I'm good with that. Some stains on the skull. Alright. There's that look. Pretty quick way to age a skeleton. You might want to let this dry for 24 hours. Let the stain set into it, because it's still kind of tacky. If it's still tacky after 24 hours, give it another 12 hours or another 24 hours. But that's my take on staining of the 5-foot posable skeletons. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you try this technique. And please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. And see you next time on the next video. Thank you for watching.